Hey folks, it's Marvin Cash, the host of the Articulate Fly, and we're back with another Southwest Virginia fishing report with Matt Reilly. How you doing, Matt?
I'm doing great, Marvin. How are you?
As always, just trying to stay out of trouble. And we were talking before we started recording, and things have thawed out a little bit in Southwest Virginia. So you probably got a decent amount of water and probably slightly warmer temperatures than average, right?
Yep. We're, I think we're supposed to be cooling off a little bit the next couple of days, but kind of consistently been hitting 50, 55, maybe upper 50 degrees. And pretty much across the board, all the rivers and streams are, average to slightly low, kind of like summertime numbers. But we are, we're supposed to, this is Tuesday night, we're supposed to be getting some rain tonight into Wednesday morning, potentially up to almost half an inch, and then a little bit more over the weekend and into next week. So I think we're in a pretty good place.
Yeah, and I would imagine too that probably means your water temperatures are probably kind of in the mid to slightly upper 40s.
I'd say 46, 47 degrees in the warm water rivers, which is an increase over the last, Thanksgiving week was fairly warm. Before that, I think we were colder. But we've warmed up a good bit in the last week or so, which has been good, I would say, overall.
Yeah, I would say that would make for very, very happy trout fishing.
Happy trout fishing, happy smallmouth fishing, happy musky fishing. Everything kind of gets happy when we're in that kind of nice mid 40s, tickling 50-degree range this time of year.
Yeah, and so is it making the muskie easier to pattern? It hasn't gotten quite that cold yet, has it?
I would say that we've been consistently finding them in the spots that I tend to focus on in the wintertime. Today I was out fishing, and I think I fished in total, a half a dozen spots and moved a few fish in every one of them. So, you're not seeing them in kind of the odd, weird summertime spots like you might have a couple of months ago. So we're definitely getting into winter. And I think, usually by Thanksgiving, and we're usually kind of in that mid 40-degree range and potentially dropping below. That's when that change tends to happen, I think.
Yeah, got it. And I got a smallmouth question for you from Tom, and it's kind of timely because we're kind of on that shoulder. He wanted to know, is smallmouth fishing basically done for the season?
It is. Smallmouth fishing in total is not. It kind of depends on what you mean. If you're a fly angler that likes to go out and throw streamers and topwater flies, you are going to really have to pick your days this time of year. Over the Thanksgiving week, there were a handful of good days. Yesterday was a good day, where we were having these, warming events and water temperatures are coming up. We've got sun on the water, makes for more active fish. I've done a little bit of smallmouth fishing in the last week or two. And, the thing about this time of year is that you're generally not going to catch very many fish, but you can catch some big ones. And that's, kind of the name of the game. And it also kind of depends on where you are, so I have some fisheries here that fish really well all winter. And you can catch some numbers, depending on the day, but, again, size is kind of the overall statement. But then, in the absence of a real strong warming trend, later in the winter, so, we get into December, January, and water temperatures start getting down below 40. They're definitely still catchable, but it becomes a low and slow, frankly, spinning gear is a lot more effective it's just a totally different game. But I mean, smallmouth are catchable pretty much year round, especially if if you can find some, spring influence, some spring fed creeks, some good winter holes where they're piled up with some flats that get some sun on them, warm water discharges, that kind of stuff. All is valuable to know this time of year.
Yeah, and I guess when you're in those situations, I mean, like you said, you're fishing, low and slow. So like crayfish, right? Sinking lines, that's kind of the game.
Yep, definitely. And like I said, unless, there's the last couple of days I've been out smallmouth fishing, we've been fairly actively fishing bait fish patterns too. But, we're still relatively warm. We're 45 to 47 degrees. And in the middle of the day when the sun's up, and like I said, you get some of those shallow areas that get sun on them, that water temperature creeps up even a little bit more. And those fish will move around to use that kind of thing. You'll see fish move into shallow water, particularly with rock, in that like 11, 12, 1 time frame during the day, just to kind of absorb some of that radiant heat.
Yeah, absolutely. And folks, we love questions on the articulate fly. You can email them to us. You can DM us on social media, whatever's easiest for you. And if we use your question, I will send you some articulate fly swag. We're drawing for some cool stuff from Matt at the end of season, which is coming up. And, Matt, as we kind of head into the holiday season, I've been watching your newsletter. You've got probably some special things you want to share with our listeners.
Yeah. Well, just like I do every year, we always offer gift certificates for folks if you want to kind of prepay or pre-book a guide trip for next year. Doesn't necessarily have to be, have it, settle on a date or anything. It's just kind of a something to give somebody at Christmas and say, go book a trip. It's paid for. I'll do those until Christmas. And I mean, frankly, we'll do them year round for different things, but it's always kind of a hit with some of our folks this time of year as Christmas gifts. And also haven't sent the announcement out yet, but we are changing rates for next year. And as I always do, whenever we change rates, I like to send out a little kind of bump just to make sure people, if they want this year's rates, you can go ahead and get deposits sent in, and don't necessarily have to book specific dates again, but just kind of get some deposits on the books or some specific dates. As long as they're paid before the end of the year, they're good for this year's rates. But that's the exciting stuff's the gift certificates. That's a big deal this time of year usually.
Yeah, there you go. And also, too, you want to just let folks remind them where they can find you on the internet so they can buy a gift certificate, book in, all that kind of good stuff.
Yep. Questions, comments, trip bookings, all that stuff. You can get in touch with me via my website, which is mattreillyflyfishing.com. All my contact info is on there, and you can reach out however you feel better.
Well, there you go. Well, listen, everybody, you owe it to yourself to get out there and catch a few. Tight lines, everybody. Tight lines, Matt.
Thanks, Marvin.